That's fair too then. Okay, that's fair. I think I've found a way to make Onryō's phasing consistent. Wait, what do you mean? I thought it was already pretty consistent, wasn't it? They were just doing some fun parkour shit. You want to try this Onryō phasing trick? Well, do I already know what it is? Were you here whenever we were watching like hens showing some stuff to laser or whatever? Because I'm not sure. Maybe you're doing the thing that I already know. This lets you summon a phase on command. What? Can you explain it to me or show me or something? For Onryō, while demanifested, tap M2, then count to 4. After 4, you're invisible. It also times perfectly with singing. Here we go around the mulberry bush. Phased what? Are you trolling me? Are you saying that you sing the whole time you play Onryō? Trying to custom and see how it goes. But isn't the phasing while you're demanifested already kind of consistent? Okay, you know what? I'm curious. I'm curious to see if you're onto something or not. I don't know. I thought the phasing was already consistent. I actually haven't played Onryō enough. I need to play Onryō more. Like here, I'll put it on like Reiko's watch or whatever just to make it even more so. Because I feel like that's really the only time that I think the only time an add-on ever like needs to be base kit is if it's like the killer pretty much never gets ran without it, right? Like Knight with Map of the Realm. I feel like Map of the Realm Knight is like kind of like that. See, the phasing already feels like it's consistent though. What do you mean? Or I guess you're saying you can make it like you said if you tap M2, 1, 2, 3. Wait, does it reset it though? Is that what it is? I think I see what you're saying that this resets it. It's definitely not 4 seconds. But it's already kind of consistent, right? Like, it goes out, in, out, in. Like, it's not differently timed every time, right? Like, it just goes out and in on, like, a pattern, does it not? Yeah, I can see how tapping could reset it. So, like, maybe if you want to... That actually might still be useful, though. Because, like, I can still see a use for that. If there's, like, a specific time in a loop that you need the phase to happen, then you can kind of know when to tap it. Like, here, we'll see whenever we boot back up. This doesn't even feel that different, actually. I think I'm invisible for, like, a little bit longer, but, like... You're saying if I tap it at 1, 2, 3... It's still not 1, 2, 3... Okay, I'll wait. I'll appear? Okay. 1, 2, 3... It's like... It happens after, like, 2 seconds. It does reset, though, right? Like, I think no matter where I am... It resets. So like if I'm already invisible. No, I guess if I just came back from invisible, right? 1, 2. If I'm currently invisible, 1, 2. Yeah, it makes it happen like 2 seconds afterwards, no matter what. I don't know how you're getting to 4. Are you like a dancer? Are you going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, high kick, high step, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, are you a dancer? Is that how you're getting to 4 seconds? How the fuck are you counting to 4 seconds? I counted faster. You're a fast counter, dude. Goddamn. Yeah, I mean that does seem useful though. I mean, I feel like with Reiko's especially. Like here, let me so like here, like this honestly doesn't even feel that. Okay, actually no, it does feel different. I could definitely see it. Okay, never mind. I can definitely feel Reiko's. So like, say there's a pallet here, right? I think what you can do is you can maybe like if someone's looping it, you can like if you know the timing, right? If it's like 2 seconds, you can kind of tap it as you're coming up to this. That way you go invisible right there. Right? I feel like that's kind of good. I think if you like learn the timing of like after you tap it, like for instance, like if they're playing this palette, like as you walk up, you can tap it. So that way you go invisible like right there, then double back, right? I think that actually could be really useful. I might try to play a game and see how it goes. You can kind of like, if you know that like, okay, going invisible in 2 seconds from now is going to be really useful. Like say they're looping this, right? If I want to like tap it here, that way I go invisible like right there, then show up, you know what I mean? Like that might be really good. I still think that's useful. I mean, I think basically the thing that you were trying to show me is mostly just that you can control when you go invisible, right? Like you're able to like control like exactly when the invisibility happens, which is still a big deal, right? It is still a big deal. Like as opposed to like just trying to make it like happen naturally, you can just tap M2 and kind of make it happen. Okay, let's play a couple games of Onryō. Yeah, exactly WarCorrespondent. I feel like you can kind of memorize tiles and know when to tap it so that you know when it happens, which could be kind of sick. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, that's cool then. That's cool. I do like that. I didn't realize that like tapping it reset it. That definitely is kind of a big deal, and that definitely does make it significantly stronger, I think. Well, not. I should say it makes it more consistent. Is really what it does. I don't think it makes it stronger. It just makes it easier to use, which is still really good. Oh, you said more simple, not super overloaded HUD. Oh yeah. The attachment thing is interesting because I never really played a lot of the new CODs where like the attachment system works that way. So that's kind of new to me, but like I still enjoy it. You know, I like the amount of grind it has for sure. But I'm still a little bit new to like the attachment system. I know that that's been used in pretty much every Call of Duty recently or whatever. Dude, like even that right there, that was, I was a little bit sloppy with it, but we still made it work. That's kind of nuts. People are getting stacks, that's for sure. Oh. She's screaming. She do be, oh my God, she just keeps going. Holy fucking scene partner is going ham. That's crazy. And like, I don't know if I'd call it complicated, but it's definitely like at least slightly more complicated than what I was used to. Are they just giving up? Is that a thing? Do people give up against fucking Onryō now? The fuck? Waiting for this new Onryō tech changes everything video. Yeah, but I feel like people know this, don't they? Like, I don't know. Is this really that new? I think this is new to me, but I feel like people know this. I don't think Windows is gonna suddenly make a good killer, or sorry, a bad survivor good all of a sudden. Give me something else. Hey, it's meant to be. We're meant to play more Onryō. Yo, look at that. It's literally meant to be.
And thank you, OhTofu, for demonstrating this to your audience. I hope some viewers get some fun out of Onryō. Now, how about I go over the phasing reset technique in more detail? Some background: when I was making the Onryō looping guide that I recently put out, I had some friends assisting me capture footage of Onryō from a survivor's perspective, and I noticed a few things I didn't understand before. Whilst Onryō consistently phases on a set timer, no matter what's going on, if you start the manifesting transition, Onryō is always visible for the transformation. It took some time sitting with this new factoid, but then another question arose for me. Are Onryō's phases on a set timer that ticks from match start to finish, like a metronome of some sorts, independent of whatever the killer has going on, or is it something that's influenced by player actions? And after some testing on that day, it turns out the answer is the latter. Even the slightest tap, such as when you are indecisive about manifesting, still causes your model to become visible. At first, I thought this was a downside for sloppy manifesting plays, but then I realized the impact. To answer OhTofu's questions of, don't people really already know about this? From what I can tell, the answer is no. Advanced Onryō guides must not be in high demand or something, because the easiest to find guides on YouTube, at least, was OhTofu's Reiko's Watch Short, and 7cm Princess's Everything Guide. And while they go over the uses of her phasing, neither of these videos acknowledge the phasing reset capabilities. They could have known this before I did, but didn't communicate it in their videos, or very few people knew about it, or no one knew about it before I did this. That's not important though, let's go into a proper explanation. As we now understand, tapping your M2 to manifest for a split second resets your phasing. But why do we care? Well, if we have a fixed point where we know turning invisible would have a great impact during the loop, then once we learn the correct time to tap M2 and reset the phasing countdown, we basically turn our pathing into the perfect execution of the mind game. For example, let's pretend that your plan is to phase past this window in Shack, such that the survivor on the inside can't tell that you walked past it. Weird request, but okay. Now, if I pass Shack the same way each time, and figure out the correct point in the pathing to tap M2, the phase occurs exactly when I want it. Shack is a consistent tile. As long as it's not a shack with tons of holes in the walls, the survivor should never know that we passed the window. But why is this interesting at all? Why is this fascinating to me? Really, I want to share what I find interesting about multiplayer combative gameplay in general. And to do that, I'm going to teach you a little bit about sword fighting. So in a sword fight reduced down to overly simplistic explanations, our biggest concern is exactly how far away we're standing from our opponent. And the reason is, there's distances where we are safe from attacks, and there's distances where we can possibly be attacked. The way I was taught, the types of distances you can have are referred to as timings, so I'll be calling them the same here. Firstly, here's long distance. There's not much to know about this distance other than neither of us are going to be able to hit each other with our swords suddenly. Next, there's this closer distance. We call this 5 swords long, with the reasoning being that you could fit 5 swords end to end between us. Probably better shown with short swords, but whatever, I wasn't able to find good images for this. This distance has a name mainly due to it being a range where something could happen next. You'd be standing here because you are safe, but someone is going to transition from here to a little bit closer. Next, we're even closer. This is called 3 swords long, similarly because you could fit 3 swords between us. And this is the point where the real danger in a sword fight starts. At this point, if I know my range correctly and the opponent didn't move, I can take 1 lunge or passing step forward, like so. So now we've got about like a foot length forward, and swing my sword and fully extend my arm. Huh? If you can imagine extending the arm forward with the sword in it, and this should just about connect with the opponent. As such, we call this kind of position timing of the hand and foot. Arms and feet must move in order to make an attack that can hit the opponent at all. Lastly, we're at a distance shorter than 3 swords long, and when we're here, we are so close that any sudden poke or stab or whatever, our sword could connect with the slightest move. So we can just imagine we're so close together that even with my arms like this, and if I didn't even move my foot, I could just go nyeh, 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 and I could just about hit them. So our sword connects with the slightest move, and this is called timing of the hand, and it's a very dangerous space to be in. Just picture yourself in some sort of historical sword fighting due. The swords are sharp, you're not wearing metal armor, and any breach of your skin could spell a broken artery or a horrible infection with no modern medicine to save you. Being in a range where someone could just and end your life is just completely nonsensical. So you want to be in a space where no matter how someone fakes moving or tries to psych you out with a sudden movement, if their foot doesn't move, you know you're safe. And that's why we like living in the timing of the hand and foot, this distance around here. So, timing of the hand, the most dangerous space you can be, where the fastest of strikes can easily land. Timing of the hand and foot, the space where your opponent has to make a commitment to strike. And we see this distancing quandary in many multiplayer games where occupying space on the board matters, including footsies in Street Fighter, or even ranged characters in League of Legends. And in Dead by Daylight, similarly, it's present, but in an asymmetrical fashion, of course. You could say that a survivor in lunging distance is in timing of the hand and foot. Similar difficulties exist when a killer wants to hit you and they have to lunge, cover some distance, and in those fractions of a second that this happens, the survivor can see the weapon arm raise, and they could do a spin, they could drop a pallet, they could do a dead hard with good timing. Let the killer close that distance even further, and now you're in the timing of the hand, where lunging isn't even required, and pallet dropping or dead harding on reaction becomes nothing more than a prediction or blind luck. And how does this at all relate to Onryō? Well, in sword fighting, one of my favorite wards is with the sword up high in the air. This is called open ward. Open ward's a little bit different with a single sword, but this person's got a two-hander and I don't have a lot of diagrams that I can work with. And I enjoy many positive benefits of having the sword up high, but one of the benefits is that the ease of which that my opponent can judge the distance between us is reduced. When I hold the sword in front, the optical angles that our eyes create can see the tip of the sword approaching extremely clearly. You don't notice it day to day, but our ability to judge in a 3D space is extremely sophisticated. Onryō's phasing, I feel, is allegorical to being in a position where our distance can be judged, but it has been made slightly difficult, similar to how open ward does that. When am I enraged when my sword is up high? Is it here? Is it here? Or is it here? How close are you going to let me get to you? Remember, one cut, life and death infection. Do you know the length of my sword so well? Do you trust your skills here to judge that? Or maybe we could be a little bit less allegorical. Put another way, Onryō's phasing asks the question, what if we were sword fighting and I just turned invisible for a moment? And there it is. That is my slice of love for the tactics of video gaming. And that's the tech. But is it any good? Well, Tofu extrapolates more on his thoughts on the tech a little later, so let's give it a watch.
Yeah, I don't actually, okay, like this audio information is like neat, but I don't think it actually adds enough to her gameplay that I'm not really having fun playing her, you know? Like it didn't do enough for me. Like I'm still, like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's actually useful enough for me to give a shit. Like I feel like I feel like you get an opportunity like once or twice a game to do something, and then it's like really fucking hard to pull off. Like even here, she's still just holding W. I was hoping to do it there, but she just held W there too. I mean, that was it right there. We definitely got value out of it right there. That was good. But I feel like it's like hard to get value out of it. Like, it doesn't feel like you get that many opportunities, and then even when you do, it's like a coin flip at best. It's like a bit awkward to pull off even, you know? Good old chicken man. I feel like there's more opportunities than you think, but it's so hard to do it well. You have to practice her more than you really want to. Yeah, that might be it. You might be right about that. I think, because it's a really like, it honestly is not a simple power. Like, it's not a simple mind game that I'm going for, right? Like, it is very, like, you have to kind of know, like, where the survivor's camera is looking, and then also, like, know exactly where, like, the line of sight blocker would be that you want to, like, you want to, like, know when to be visible and when to be invisible. Like, there is a lot to it. It's definitely not, like, a simple thing.
I love how he says it's not a big deal, while somehow also getting a grab at Shack Window. But yeah, Onryō's phasing mechanic isn't designed to be a hard anti-loop, like a hatchet or a clown bottle, and the survivor is not impeded in any way, and can also just choose to stand at the strongest point in a power loop and go for a fast vault on the roll of the dice, and sometimes just make the right call despite the full context being hidden from them. But I kinda like that. It's more like gambling, really, which I'm sure people are going to balk at an RNG kind of thing in Dead by Daylight, but I guess the more reasonable way to describe it, the prediction itself is read heavy. A survivor can use their prior knowledge to figure out Onryō's habits. Well, this Onryō double-backed while phased twice in the last chase. I'm going to assume that she does it again. And the same can go for Onryō. This survivor left the loop each time I tried phasing. I might just fake it this time. Better yet, Onryō has a semi-transparent period. The part where the hands are becoming invisible. Onryō's model is changing visibility in the same way from the survivor's perspective. You could begin to change directions while the hands change visibility, fake that new walking direction, and continue your original path while invisible. Which sounds nuts. And anyways, that's all I've got. This information is all new to me, so I haven't explored it fully. Go play Onryō. Give Phasing Reset a go, and give it a good go, not just the one game and call it. Sit with it for a day or two, see how much you can improve, and thank you for watching.